Scream. So, Scream is a requel. It's a sequel to the previous films, but it's also a relaunch at the same time, kind of like the 2018 Halloween movie. So, in this film, we have a new killer has and who has donned the Ghostface mask and begins targeting a group of teenagers to resurrect secrets from the town's deadly past. Okay, so I didn't review any of the Scream movies here on my YouTube channel, but here, I'll just go over them, alright? The first Scream movie is very loved. It's very loved by fans and, critics. It's definitely it's definitely up there, and it's definitely up there with one of the best horror movies. Well, some people call it that. I don't mind the second movie. The third movie is just piled with jump scares in every corner. I feel, in my opinion, in Scream 3, the third movie is just littered with jump scares, and then the fourth movie I will never forgive. It's unforgivable. But there were a lot of things going on between the fourth movie and up until now. There were some allegations. The rights to the franchise were acquired by a different company. And of course, the COVID pandemic going on, delaying production, and to avoid story leaks, numerous versions of the screenplay were produced and several additional scenes were filmed. So there were a lot of shit going on between the fourth movie, which came out what's 2022, so it came out like a little bit over a decade ago. So yeah, and here we are. A decade later, and we have a requel of Scream. So Scream, this is one of the best Scream movies ever, and it's the first one to not be directed by Wes Craven. The man himself, Wes Craven, directed all of the Scream movies, but this is the first one where he's not doing the directing. This is like one of the best Scream movies. I love how this movie is honoring Wes Craven's legacy, his directorial, his direction of the franchise, and also, remaining. I just really love the meta commentary on horror films, like all the other horror, iconic, famous, and popular horror films, like Halloween, Friday the 13th, A Nightmare on Elm Street. By the way, I didn't pick this up, but yeah, there are a lot of horror Easter eggs and references. Like some of the characters, their last names are from characters from other horror movies, or like directors, like Billy Loomis, Dr. Loomis, Billy Loomis, Sam Loomis from the Halloween movie, and our main character, her last name, I don't know the actress's name. I've seen her before. I don't know her last name, but her character is Samantha Carpenter. Like John Carpenter, the director of the original Halloween movie. I do like these references here and there. And I love, I just love the meta commentary. But is this movie great or anything? I think it's really good. I think Scream is a really good movie. Do I have any issues? I guess I don't really find anything. I don't know if you would call it a flaw or a nitpick, but I didn't feel like this movie was scary. Like the jump scares, like the horror elements, the themes, the atmosphere. It didn't really work for me, if that makes sense. It probably doesn't make any sense when I'm explaining it. It didn't feel scary. I guess that could be an issue. Another one, I just feel like we've been through so much with, David Arquette, Nev Campbell, Courtney Cox. I think it's time for all of us to move on. I do hope that, down the line, in the future, if we get a sequel, and from what I'm hearing great things about this movie, so it sounds like we are going to get a sequel. So if we do get a sequel down the line, I think it's time for us to say goodbye. I think it's, it's going to be sad. It will be sad, but I think it's time for us to say goodbye to, the veterans, the old original characters, and, move on to newer characters. Just keep moving on. I think it's technically it's been 5 movies. Technically, it's been 5 movies with all these 3 characters. I think it's time for us all to move on from those 3 main characters and get introduced to some new characters and, start latching on to them and start relating to them more. Because I do love the sisterhood, relationship between the main character and her sister who was attacked in the beginning of the film. So yeah, I do like that. Jack Crade. I just love seeing Jack Crade. Like, the only thing I've seen from him is The Boys. And now he's here in Scream. Like, I saw the trailer for this movie, and I was like, oh my god, that's Jack Crade. Oh my god. So it was a huge surprise to see him popping up in a horror movie of all things. But yeah, it was a fun little surprise. But yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say for Scream. I mean, it does follow the same formula as the previous movies. The movie opens up. And, a character's all alone. A character's all alone at home, and then they get a phone call from Ghostface, and then Ghostface attacks and or kills the person, and then title card, and then the title of the movie starts playing, and then there's 2 Ghostface killers, and then it ends with they always come back, and then you gotta shoot them in the head. So it does follow the same formula as the previous film, so there's that. Would that be a spoiler? I think that would be, I don't know if it's not a heavy spoiler, that's more like a light spoiler. I'm sorry. I'm sorry if what I just said right now was considered spoiler. But anyway, yeah. So if you've seen Scream, let me know what you thought about it. Wow, like these requels are really good. Like, we got Halloween that came out in 2018, and then Halloween Kills, which I thought was pretty bad, close to awful. But the first Halloween movie that came out in 2018, that requel was awesome. I did like that. I did love that movie, and this is a great movie too. This is one of the best Scream movies. But yeah, if you've seen it, let me know what you thought about it in the comment section below. Thank you so much for taking your time to listening to my review. Please like, comment, subscribe, share, and I will see all of you lovely people really soon.